The views and opinions expressed on KYND 1520 talk programs are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, management, other hosts, or advertisers. Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company.
Welcome to Natural Nation Network, the show that peels back the layers of confusion on health issues and gives you access to accurate information that can help you get off of medications, reach optimal health, and live your best life. Ready to help someone you care about change their life? Contact them right now. The conversation's about to get started. Here's your host, Oscar Hines.
And good morning, Houston. This is Oscar Hines. Welcome to the Natural Nation Network. We are excited to have you here, and I am excited because I am joined by two gorgeous women. You know, this is how we improve the scenery in here. We don't want to have my ugly mug on. We just invite some gorgeous ladies to sit in with us. Not only that, but they're extremely smart. And first, I want to introduce a dear friend of mine. We go back some years, and we have always had this great relationship, kinetic, funny. We laugh, we enjoy each other. We get into all kinds of trouble in conversation, but I absolutely love her. She's my sister. Good morning, Robin. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Oscar. How are you?
You'll want to bring that mic a little all right.
How you doing?
I'm fantastic.
That better?
That is great.
Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear now. Well, welcome. It is such a joy to have you on the air. I've had the pleasure of having you on the air one time before, and now I just want you as my regular co-host. Can you just quit your day job and just come here all the time?
That's a dream of mine, so I'll work on it. But it's good to see you again.
Oh,
it's good
my
to be
gosh.
back.
You look fabulous.
Thank
and your husband's a very lucky man. Just in case I flirt you up, you know, we want to put that out there right up front.
He'll appreciate that.
He
Thank you.
does. And joining us in the studio, and I'm really excited to have this conversation, we have Dr. Bailey, who is here with us. Good morning, Dr. Bailey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. It's an honor to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Wow. You know, whenever I have the combination of beauty and brains, I'm just a wee bit intimidated. So I'm just saying, right? So you look amazing, and you've had this incredible career. So we were talking a little bit before we got on the air, and it's appropriate to sort of, before we delve into our conversation, and Robin, I'm going to ask you to jump in whenever you'd like to, tell our audience a little bit about your background and how things all started for you. Because you're a medical doctor now, but that's not where it started.
No, that's not where it started. Originally, I actually was in college for molecular biology, and I wanted to be a doctor. I always wanted to be a doctor since I was a little kid. My grandma was a nurse, and I always thought a medical career was awesome. But senior year of college, I applied to med school, didn't get in. I was real disappointed, but I changed things around, worked in a lab for a couple years, tried to apply to med school again. Things didn't work out again. I didn't do well in the MCAT. So my mom was kind of like, well, maybe you should try something else. Maybe you should go to law school. And I was kind of iffy about it. And I was like, not really for me, but let me kind of try it just to kind of keep her quiet for a little bit. Didn't think I would get in, but I ended up getting in and applied to law school. So I was like, okay, guess I have to go now.
Wow.
Got into Georgetown Law, and I kind of knew from the first day it really wasn't for me, but I was like, I'm going to stick it out, finish it, and try it. And finished law school, Georgetown Law. I was a patent lawyer in Washington, D.C. for 3 years. Wow. I helped generic drug companies try to get their lower-cost drugs on the market for 3 years. I made great money, had a great career, but always in that back of my mind and my heart, I was like, I really, really want to be a doctor. So I studied again for the MCAT, did well, applied again, and they were like, okay, you're a lawyer. You did all this. Okay, we're going to let you in med school now.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went to med school at George Washington University, and I finally was like where I wanted to be. I was like, I've got my dream. I'm a doctor. I'm happy. I've kind of finally met my calling. So that's what happened. Yeah.
So when you had that calling, that bug that sort of gets into you, where did that start for you?
Again, my grandma was a nurse, so always seeing her. She was an old school nurse, had the white cap and the starched white uniform all the time. I would see her shine up her white shoes for her shifts and everything. And she would always come home and tell me about all the patients she was taking care of, all that. So that kind of sparked my interest in medicine. So from there on, I was always wanted to be interested in medicine. And
wow.
That's what sparked it.
Wow. And so then once you actually got your degree as a doctor, did your internship, what type of medical practice, what type of doctor did you become?
Well, originally I set out, I wanted to be a surgeon. I thought I was going to be a transplant surgeon. I loved surgery, I loved being in the OR. I actually matched in general surgery here in Houston. That's how I moved from D.C. to Houston. After the first year, lifestyle-wise, I was just miserable. I felt, I loved medicine, I loved the OR, but personality-wise, it just wasn't for me. And at this time, I was already in my mid-30s. I wanted to have a family and still and have the career, and I realized that it just wasn't healthy for me anymore. So I changed things around, decided to go into emergency medicine. I actually got into emergency medicine residency right across the street from my other residency.
Wow.
And it worked out great. It was perfect. I could still, do procedures, still see patients, but it was shift work. So I could still have a great personal life and still have a great career. So I finished residency a couple years ago. Now I'm an emergency medicine physician here in Houston.
My goodness.
Yep. And I trained at Bentop Hospital, so I've kind of seen everything trauma-wise and medicine-wise.
Wow. So let's talk about that a little bit, Doc, because Bentop, a lot of people don't realize Bentop is ground zero for some of the most severe and often life-threatening illnesses, emergencies, accidents, anywhere.
Exactly, yes. It is an amazing, amazing institution. I think when people think county hospital, they think the worst. But if anything bad ever happened to me, I would say take me right to Bentop. It's an amazing hospital, it's an amazing institution. It's a county hospital, but you get the best treatment anywhere you can think there. You're going to be seen by med students, residents, and then the top physicians in the community right there. And literally, they see everything. Anything you could ever think of is going to be seen there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So take us inside that world for a minute. When somebody is rushed into the emergency room, when they come in the ambulance and they're brought in there, take us through what that's like sitting in your position.
It depends on location. If I was at Bentop, immediately if you're getting a trauma and you kind of assess the patient right away, see how ill they are, how critical they are. Usually ambulance will call you ahead of time and give you a heads up as to what's going on, so you kind of know what to expect. Sometimes they don't have the time to do that, and they just roll in with the patient. You have to assess them real quickly. The nurse will get vitals on them, set them up. You can make sure if they're talking. If they're not talking, you try to figure out what's going on, see if you need to stabilize their airway, see if they're have a pulse, all that sort of thing. Do you need to start CPR? So it just depends. Now I work more in a freestanding ER, so it's totally different. I get more patients that actually walk in with something. I have patients now come in with just the sniffles, and once in a while someone will come in with a gunshot wound. So it'll just be just random, whoever walks in or drives in or ends up at our front door.
From colds to gunshots.
Yes. Wow. Exactly.
So what is the most extraordinary case that you've gotten? You ever have anything that just made your mouth drop?
I've had quite a few that made my mouth drop. That is hard to say. That's hard to say. Personally, as being on my own as a physician, out of residency, all that, probably the most serious case I had to take care of once was a patient that came in totally stable, was talking, had been bleeding for a little while, been throwing up for a little while, looked pale, and we knew he was sick. And I was the only doctor in the hospital.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, so it's time to get the big girl panties on. Yeah, and the patient was doing okay for the first half an hour, and all of a sudden he got real sick. He lost his pulses, wasn't breathing on his own. Immediately, I kind of just thought what was going on. He checked, did vital signs, did another exam on him. I couldn't hear any air going through his lungs, so I was like, he needs some chest tubes. So he put 2 holes in the side of his chest right away, opened it up. Immediately, his oxygen levels went right back up, pulse came back. And I had an amazing team of nurses that were working with me that night, and I was just, hey, throw me a chest tube, throw me this, and that. Everybody was working together, and we got him back, and he actually survived. So a lot of times you see someone die right in front of you, and they were able to bring them back. So those are amazing times.
Wow, wow. There's a lot of adrenaline flowing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So you saved his life.
That time I did, yes.
Bring you, like, cakes and pies all the time? I would.
Not quite. Yes, but sometimes there are times when you just can't do anything for the patient, but sometimes there are good times you can help them out.
Yeah. So in your assessment, and on this show, we've had a few other professionals, and I always like to sort of get their take on this. In your assessment, and maybe not so much in the current ER situation, maybe back at Bentop and places like that, what percentage of the people that you saw on a daily basis would you say were lifestyle choices that put them in that situation versus actual emergencies? What, if you had to decide percentage-wise, what would that look like?
That would be hard, but I would say it would have to be greater than 50% of what I would see medically. And actually, I guess trauma-related, too, is lifestyle. A lot of things that I saw at Bentab were mostly probably blood pressure-related or diabetes-related. That, your blood pressure affects heart, blood vessels, everything, affects your kidneys. Same with diabetes, it does the same thing. And you see so many patients that either catch it too late or they haven't taken care of themselves and that sort of thing, or they have some kind of strange medical condition that, when it is discovered, it's like, wow, it's too late now. Now you need dialysis, or now you need, this surgery or that surgery. So I'd say a majority of what I've seen is lifestyle related. That could have been prevented if they, sometimes people don't have insurance. But if they had insurance and they could have gotten their yearly checkups, it could have been caught earlier, and they could have changed diet or maybe started medicine. They could have made lifestyle changes that would have helped them to prevent these diseases.
Wow. So, and we'll talk about the holistic and medical side of what you do here a little bit later, but just in thinking about sort of the emotional mindset that a person has and what sort of keeps people moving towards a lifestyle of unhealthiness, in your opinion, what is that?
It could be environment. Some people just don't have access to good fruits and vegetables or good, grocery store where they can get it. Sometimes I understand. Sometimes it's cheaper to eat fast food. But you have to have. I guess sometimes you just need to realize, hey, this isn't working for me. It's making me sicker. I have to change things somehow. Yeah. There's a way to figure out how to make this work one way or the other.
Yeah. It could also be emotional, right? And they're eating. If it's an emotional situation,
exactly.
They're just eating out of boredom,
yes,
or
stress,
out of misery, or stress,
exactly,
and that would definitely exacerbate their situation.
So now, Robin, you were saying off mic that you were being called in the family doctor, yes. Robin. Why is that? What is the?
Well, I have to attribute that to you, Oscar, because
really?
When I met you, you were very much into holistic. So you kind of introduced me to the holistic lifestyle, and I am a creature of research. All I do all day long, my thing is, if I get a headache, a footache, or whatever, what's the natural alternative? What's the natural remedy? So I do a lot of research. I buy a lot of books. So I'm a big fan of essential oils. I feel like essential oils can do a lot to help you. I'm big on supplements. And then I'm kind of a fan of Suzanne Summers. I'm like, is that really a supplement thing, or is it plastic surgery? I don't know. but I said, okay, I'll take some of what she says with a grain of salt. But, absolutely, I know we can't live without doctors, but I think preventative has a lot to do with it. So I try to, prevent before I need to treat.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
We encourage people to think about preventative measures more than anything else because the truth is, gosh, if you got hit by a car on I-45, you would want to seek a medical doctor, emergency room. You're not. It's not like you're going to take vitamins at that point. It's like, okay, get me my zinc. No, get me some sutures. Yeah, exactly. That's right. There's a comedian that talks about Robitussin. Right. That's hysterical. Yeah, it's like give them some Robitussin.
Right, Chris Rock, I think.
However, the healthier you are, the more likely you are to survive those traumas too, though.
Absolutely.
Yes, that helps too.
That's true.
Vitamins in there.
I heard some very bizarre and sick statistic that drunk drivers tend to not get as injured as the people that they hit.
Unfortunately,
they're pickled.
Yeah, well, they're pickled. That's right. Their liver's pickled. If nothing else.
You last a long time.
And they're so relaxed when it's happening that they don't have that impact when you're
the adrenaline.
Yeah, exactly. When the person that's not drunk, they're going to tense up. They're going to feel the impact, and it's going to hit them.
So the key to getting hit, Doc, is just relax.
I'm not going to say that.
It's like, we're about to go head on. Just go with it.
Yeah. Go to your happy place.
That's right. Go to your happy place, and just let's feel this thing, and hope the airbag kicks in. Right. Wow, that's a little bit scary, but nonetheless, I totally get that. So it's been an interesting journey for you and Dr. Bailey, and I want to sort of delve into that a little bit. But we're right up against our first commercial here, so why don't we go ahead and take a break? When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the ways that you have introduced holistics into your practice and with your patients that have really changed their lives. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to KYND radio station, KYND, inspiring the kind of change to help you live your best life.
The power of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group, a family-owned auto group, is one of the fastest growing dealers in Houston. Bayway Lincoln has been awarded the prestigious Triple Crown Award for quality service. Bayway Lincoln, Volkswagen of the Woodlands, Bayshore Dodge, Bayway Volvo. The Bayway family has been longtime champions of diversity and would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the leaders of the past and encourage the leaders of the future. We invite you to come and find out what's made Bayway Lincoln an award-winning dealership for over 2 decades. Go to baywaylincoln.com or call 281-929-6500. That's 281-929. Everywhere. The powerful 1520.
And we are back. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network. I'm Oscar Hines. If you are just joining us, we are live in the studio with Dr. Bailey and my beautiful friend Robin. I still want to call you Robin Marshall, but I can't do that, right?
Well, that's my stage name.
That's your stage name.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll stick to the stage
I still
name.
Marshall at work. Yeah, I do.
Well, that's great. Well, it is so much fun to have you here. You are a joy. And we are talking with Dr. Bailey. And Dr. Bailey's had a fabulous, very interesting journey from law to medicine. And as a medical doctor working in the emergency room, dealing with some very serious trauma, to looking into and now delving into the natural and holistic world. So there's just some great conversation that's yet to be had, and we want you to join us. And you can do that by giving us a call at 832-230-5592. Again, that's 832-230-5592. Let's go ahead and take a caller now. Good morning, Ray. You're on the air with Dr. Bailey.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
My question is, I'm in the process, I'll be turning 44, so I'm in the process of setting me an appointment to go and see a doctor and get the complete physical done. But my question is, and I've been having some problems, my question is, if they prescribe me certain medicine, and I really would like to do it the natural way, because I know those medicines kind of mess up your body. How would that work as far as me going to a holistic doctor and taking them where they say this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong? Can they prescribe stuff that way? I hope I'm answering the question right.
Okay.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I would recommend going to a medical doctor first, getting your complete physical, them doing
Right.
blood work on you, checking your vitals and everything, and be upfront with the doctor. Tell them that if they do find something wrong, they do find out that you are diabetic or have high blood pressure or something else is going on, tell them you would like to try a natural way first before just jumping into the medicines. There are
Okay.
things you can do before jumping to the medicines, depending on the severity of the condition. If it's like pre-diabetes or pre-hypertension, they could do things like tell you to adjust your diet, start exercising, do different things like that, try different vitamins and supplements. So there are things you can do before jumping to the medicines, again, depending on the severity of the condition. So I would suggest talking to your doctor specifically ahead when they do your physical and everything. Tell them that you do want to, if you do need medicine, that you want to try things naturally first.
So
Okay.
So
go
Ray,
ahead.
Ray, I'm curious. Did you have any conditions, any concerns? Is there obesity? Is there something going on with you that you're worried about? Because it sounds like you're almost anticipating they're going to prescribe something.
Exactly.
Well, I already take blood pressure medicine, so I've been taking that since I was 30. But
Wow.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like so ready to get off of the blood pressure medicine because that, they say I've heard that it messes with your nature, and I don't want that to happen.
Yes, yes.
Well, it is possible at this time your blood pressure might be better controlled now, and they can reassess it and see if they can, if you're on multiple medications, they might be able to decrease it down to one, or they could be able to do a trial of stopping it and see how you do with just diet and exercise. There are a couple different options. Just talk to your doctor real thoroughly about your expectations, what you'd like to try to do, and then you want to try to get off the medicines if possible.
Okay, that's a
Great.
concern of mine. You answered my question. Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you
You're
so much,
welcome.
Doc. Now, let me ask you this, Dr. Bailey, and if it's not something that you're comfortable answering, it's a curiosity question for me, but I've heard that some of the blood pressure medications, when you're on them for a certain period of time, your body becomes addicted to those medications and you can't get off. And I know with my dad, or in my dad's case, there was an issue with a renal failure over the course of time, and they sort of ascribe that to that blood pressure. So, is that the case, to your knowledge?
Well, there are some medications that will cause side effects to different things, and it could cause side effects to other organs and affect it, so that's possible. And it's not necessarily that your body gets addicted to the medicine. That it kind of gets resistant to it, and it kind of gets used to the medicine after a while. So it might be a time to readjust or change medicines if they might not be effective anymore for your body if you've been on them so long.
Wow.
And then every year new medications come that are better than the ones before. So sometimes you just need to try a new one that comes up.
Okay.
Yeah, and do your research, do your investigation too.
Yes, to change those. Okay, very good. Well, let's take another caller. Good morning, Mark. You're on the air.
Good morning. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right this morning?
Doing
Great.
great, sir.
Okay. Yes, I was listening to the show, and I listen all the time on the radio. And when I be just listening when they come in and talk, and I just want to say there's something that she said that kept me on point, and she was absolutely right. She just when she talked about hospitals and Bentar, the best hospitals there are. I have a family member that went to all different hospitals, but when they got to Bentar was the one who found out the issue and took care of my cousin. The rest of the hospitals just didn't do it. And that's a good statement what she said, that Bentar is a good hospital. County hospitals are good. The only problem, we have to wait, but we'll get the best service.
Exactly.
And you were right. You hit it on the nail. So anything you say, I'm listening. So
Yes, that you're
came
so
out.
right. There's so many patients that aren't insured, and there's such a need for to be able to be seen by nurses and doctors and that sort of thing. So you might have a little longer wait in the county hospital, but if you're really sick, that's where you need to go sometimes. Yeah, it's not something that you should be afraid of going to the county hospital. You're going to get excellent care there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
thank you, Mark. We appreciate that. And so, as we think about it, there are all sorts of different things, ailments, issues that a person can develop. And when they go to their doctor, one of the advices that you just gave to the previous caller was that, you need to be transparent. You really, you don't hide anything
Yes,
from them.
you have to tell your doctor everything what's going on, even if it's embarrassing. You have patient confidentiality with your physician. They're not going to tell anybody else. They're not going to make fun of you when you leave the room. You have to be honest.
They're not going to chuckle and say, "Oh my God!"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We take a code we take an oath that we're not going to do certain things. So if you're smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, let your doctor know. They need to know that. If you're doing some type of drugs, let them know what's going on. They have to know what's going on. That's the only way sometimes they can figure out what's going on with you if you're honest about what's going on.
Yeah. And that's important. I think a lot of times from embarrassment or whatever, people won't say, yeah, I'm a pothead. I like smoking weed.
Exactly.
I just did an 8-ball before I came in. No, that's terrible.
Yeah. The doctor is the one to tell, right?
Yeah.
Tell anyone.
Well, a lot like in emergency room, sometimes people come in with sexually transmitted diseases or issues, and they're afraid to tell you what's going on, but I can't really get to the source. You're not going to be honest with me if you had unprotected sex or not. It depends on what's going on. You have to be honest with your physician so that you can figure out what's wrong and try to help you out with whatever you came in with.
Yeah, and those variables that occur, that changes how you would approach an issue, I would imagine.
Exactly. It totally changes how you approach the issue. And if you tell the patient if you don't say anything, we're never going to figure out or have that extra information that would help us get there a little quicker.
Yes. So, Doc, sometimes I think doctors get a bad rap because they deal with managed care and insurance companies. And so talk about the business side for just a moment of your practice and what that involves.
I think for most physicians, I think the most is the volume of patients they have to see. So I know a lot of patients get frustrated, again, with, like the caller said before, the wait time. Sometimes there's a long wait because there might be only one physician in the ER that night. So you might have to wait a little longer if they've got another sick patient or a couple sick patients they're trying to take care of. Another complaint patients sometimes have is the physician didn't have enough time to talk to me. If they have multiple other people they're trying to see at the same time, they might have to be a little short. If you are going for a physical, I recommend you, when you are making an appointment, tell the receptionist ahead of time you want a full physical. That way they can schedule for more time rather than if it's just a one complaint appointment, which they're only going to schedule for about 15 minutes. Absolutely. So that's another thing. I'd say be patient with your physician because they've got other stresses going on too. They want to do the best for you too, but they're under a lot of constraints with time and volume as well.
And I always recommend to my friends and family when you go, especially if you're going for an appointment, make a list because you're going to forget.
Exactly. Have your questions
sometimes your doctors, they're on it, so they're doing all the talking. But if you want to make another appointment, come back and ask a question too, you're in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a difference, and there's an intimidation factor with the white coat when that happens. You walk in and people are like humming.
Right, exactly.
Yes, that's again another great reason to have your list and questions ahead of time. So if you do get nervous, you have it right there. You can
because there's that phenomenon right when you get your blood pressure taken and what do they call that?
White coat hypertension is
white
true.
coat hypertension.
Yeah. It is a thing when people have completely normal blood pressure, but when they get in the doctor's office, it might be 10, 20, 30 numbers higher, and it's just because they're in the stress of, maybe waiting a long time or rushing to get there on time, and then they're at the doctor, and then they're nervous and everything like that, and sometimes after the doctor leaves and they just relax for a little bit and you recheck the blood pressure, it's completely normal, or if you have them check the blood pressure when they get home or at CVS or whatever, and it's normal now.
And doctors can be intimidating.
Some can,
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing all their talk because they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And you will not feel like I have a doctor that I've been going to for 20 years. She has the same personality that I do, so I literally have to cut her off so I can ask my question. And patients need to know this is your time too.
Exactly.
And so don't be intimidated if you have a very
Yes.
authentic question that you need to ask.
Yeah, if you do have concerns, tell them you have concerns.
Absolutely.
If they don't have enough time to address it, make it another appointment to see them. I mean, if you're really uncomfortable, you find another doctor and that will have time to see you. Absolutely. If that's the ultimate problem.
You have choices.
So,
you have choices.
And I don't know because it's a toss up with bedside manner and that I remember it was and this is tragic but funny in a weird sort of way, So that's me. Yeah, I'm tragic and funny, really.
Yeah. In a lovable way.
So this in a lovable. So my father was like, he's a pretty serious condition, and this doctor, this Indian doctor, just comes in. And, my father had renal failure, and then he had some issues where, there was some potential gangrene happening in his leg. And this guy comes in, he says, what is going to happen is you're going to amputate that first leg, and he's going to continue to suffer, and then you'll amputate the second leg, and then after that, he's going to die.
Really?
Oh, my God.
I was like,
I pulled this man outside. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Why would you say that? My father is listening to you. He's not deaf.
Yeah.
I mean, But I have to say, this guy was spot on.
Yeah, sometimes you have to scare the patient. Like, this is going to happen. If you don't get your diabetes in control, your foot is going to be gone.
Yeah.
He might have just been a little too upfront. But
I just think he didn't take his meds that morning.
Or that could be a problem, too.
This guy was so brutally drunk.
Tell us what you really think, Doc.
Yeah, exactly. A little foreplay. So, man, my goodness. I'm sorry. I digress.
We understand. But, you know, it depends on the doctor. Some doctors are real accommodating.
Yes.
When my dad was first diagnosed, we were afraid that he wouldn't be able to handle the word cancer. So we had the doctor, and he was at MD Anderson. They were so kind. When he was in the room, they'd call it anything but that. And then, like, after a few months, he got used to it. Then someone slipped up, and he didn't blink.
Well, and you're right, because one of my favorite stories about a physician that, and he actually did a lot of removal of cancers from the breast. You know, he did a lot of surgeries, and he said that he would have this practice of holding the patient's hand before they were anesthetized, and he would say, everything's going to be okay.
That's wonderful.
They're going to wake up, and this is going to be fine.
Nice.
And he reassured them, and he said,
relax them.
"Oh my gosh!"
That's
And he did. He said that his experience was when he was going through surgery as a young child, that a doctor did that with him, just held his hand and warmly reassured him, and at that point he went through without a hitch. And so that begs the question. With a physician, with a surgeon, would you rather have someone with really great bedside manner or somebody who's just going to slice you up like a science project?
That's hard. Or maybe you need one with both skills.
Yeah, please have both.
Yeah.
Well, I know that
skill over bedside manner any day.
Yeah.
Amen. That's where I was headed. I will take the guy that'll slice me up like a science project, as long as he sews me back together and doesn't put my ear on the side of my. All right. Well, you are listening to Natural Nation Network. I'm Oscar Hines, joined by Dr. Bailey, and my co-host today, Robin, is in the house, and we are talking about health and wellness. When we come back, we'll delve into the health and wellness conversation, and we want you to join the conversation. So be sure to call us at 832-230-5592. We'll be back.
From spring to Sugarland, on the air everywhere. The powerful 1520. Power of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group, a family-owned auto group, is one of the fastest-growing dealers in Houston. Bayway Lincoln has been awarded the prestigious Triple Crown Award for quality service. Bayway Lincoln, Volkswagen of the Woodlands, Bayshore Dodge, Bayway Volvo. The Bayway family has been longtime champions of diversity and would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the leaders of the past and encourage the leaders of the future. We invite you to come and find out what's made Bayway Lincoln an award-winning dealership for over 2 decades. Go to baywaylincoln.com or call 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Bayway Lincoln, strengthening our community for a better tomorrow.
This is Carla J, inviting you to join the new Sound Off with Carla J as we discuss pop culture, today's music, hottest gossip, sports, and a whole lot more. It's going to be crazy. You'll never know what shenanigans the guys will be up to and who'll be visiting the studio. Thursday Thursdays, 6 p.m. here on 1520 KYND.
Apple and Android users, be sure and download the KYND radio app. And don't miss Sound Off with Carla J on 1520 KYND. 1520 KYND. Connect to the power. 832-230-5592. KYND. Your kind of radio.
And we are back. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network here on KYND Radio. We're having a great conversation with Dr. Bailey and Robin Marshall sitting in with us today. And Dr. Bailey, one of the areas that you moved into that is quite admirable, and one of the reasons I really was excited to have you on our show is that in addition to all your other accomplishments, you know, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, a rocket scientist. What else? I was going to say you're a fitness and bodybuilder as well.
Yeah.
So how did this all happen?
Well, after having my daughter, who's 4 now, I put on some weight and I lost the weight. And then I started a new job and was eating like crazy and not exercising, not taking care of myself. And I gained 30 pounds in like a month. And I couldn't keep up after my daughter anymore. I was exhausted. I felt horrible. And my mom passed away, and kind of everything came together. I was like, well, I got to get myself in shape and get myself back together. I won't be around to take care of my daughter. I won't be healthy enough to run after her. So I kind of had a wake-up call. So then, I hired a personal trainer. I started working out. I changed my diet around completely, lost the 30 pounds. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to do a fitness contest.
Wow.
And then competed in a fitness contest in December. And after that, I posted the pictures, and a lot of other women contacted me, other moms and single moms or busy professional women. They were like, wow, you work this crazy schedule, but you still had time to get back in shape. I have no excuse now, and you've motivated me so much now. And I never expected it. I had so many women contact me, and they're like, thank you for inspiring me. I'm going to get myself back into shape now, and I'm going to feel better and feel healthier and all that. So, and they've been contacting me about, how to get themselves back into shape too, and asking for help.
Wow. So what were some of the protocols that you used to get that off? Because there's some ladies, and I hope they're listening right now, that were here earlier, and we had a great conversation, and we talked about doing some things to cleanse, to detox the body, to get things back on track. What are some of the protocols that you would use to do that, to accomplish that?
Well, first thing I recommend, if you are starting from scratch with a diet or exercise program, is first see your physician, get your checkup, make sure it's okay for you to do strenuous activity, to do certain diet changes, and that sort of thing. And after you get the okay, I would say first, deciding what kind of physical activity you like to do. Do you like to go to the gym? Can you find a gym that you're comfortable with? It might, there are different gyms that fit different personalities. There are gyms that are just for women, or if you want to be a gym like with that focuses on weights, or a gym that has Zumba classes or different fit. You got to find out what's fun for you that's going to keep you engaged. If you need somebody to stay on track, you can find a personal trainer. You can find an online coach. I do some online coaching. And then diet-wise, you can. Big thing is water. For like you were talking about cleansing and detoxing. The biggest thing is to stop drinking sodas. I was drinking tons of sodas and ices and all that. And I went to the dentist, and I had a cavity in just about every tooth possible. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I got to stop drinking all these sodas. So you got to cut out the sodas and the caffeine and drink water. Try to drink at least a gallon of water a day, and that totally will cleanse and detox. You really need that water for your metabolism and to help clear all the waste out there, and also to help speed the metabolism and help you to lose that weight and stay healthy.
Wow. Well, sodas are probably the biggest culprit because they say that there's like 10 teaspoons of sugar in one 16-ounce bottle of soda, of soft drink. And so those are really damaging. So Robin, what are some of your guilty foods that you've sort of vowed that you have to get away from?
Well, I really, and I tried to express this to my family, sometimes you have to sort of torture yourself to pay, and it pays off. So I have really trained myself to not eat a lot of sweets, and but one of the things I do now, I don't know, speaking of water, is I drink a lot of alkaline water now, and that seems to help a lot. But I'm not big on sugar. I'm mainly a salt snacker. So, that doesn't seem to cause me a whole lot of problems. But my biggest issue is sitting around. I need to. I just got. My husband bought me a bike about 2 weeks ago. Okay. That's a fun exercise for me. I don't get to the gym the way I need to, so I jump on the bike, and that helps.
And that's good. Then you got to find something that's fun for you.
Find something that's fun. The treadmill's not fun to me. I need to feel like I'm going somewhere. I need some scenery.
It's just like life, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You're pedaling and not moving anywhere.
Chasing my tail,
That's right.
And you could start off slow. Originally, I just started off with walking. I live near a beautiful lake, so I would take my daughter on walks. Just do 30 minutes every other day, and then kind of increase it every week, or go a little faster. If you have kids, put them in the stroller and take them for a walk. They'll love it. Just get outside and
So you never
enjoy it.
Once you started losing the weight, was that the motivator for you? Because I've lost like 5 pounds, but it's so easy to get it right back on.
Yeah, well, I started enjoying the exercise. I was doing better, and I started feeling better. And I was like, okay, that's what kept it up. And after I got rid of the sodas, when I tried to drink a soda again, I didn't enjoy the taste. It was too sweet then.
Good.
So I kind of just felt better after I got through that initial hump. It's hard. It's really hard at first.
Yeah, you really have to sacrifice.
Yeah, you do.
Something.
You do. Yeah. You know what's interesting is if you can abstain from certain damaging sort of foods, like you mentioned, the sodas tasted really sweet.
Yeah.
I remember, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Well, maybe a few of them, but I don't have enemies. Everybody loves me.
Right.
No, so, but I had chicken pox when I was an adult.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And my goodness, I mean, I felt like Job, the sores from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet type of thing. And I knew what it felt like to be 80. I was walking around like, Mr. Tudball from Carol and Burnett.
Right.
It was really, that the gray-haired folks got that one.
No, I know. He was awesome.
So at that point in time, I remember it was my body was in so much pain and everything else, but I couldn't eat. I really couldn't eat. So when I finally could eat, which was about 3 weeks later, I decided, okay, let me at least just get some soup. And I was astounded when I tasted this soup.
How salty
it was extremely salty.
Yes,
It
exactly.
tasted like I was drinking seawater.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I could not believe that a soup that I had had so many times in the past, my tolerance for salt had gotten, my resistance apparently was so high, I couldn't believe how much sodium was in that thing. It was mind-boggling. And the same thing with sweets. Everything tasted sweet and just hard to bear, really.
Yeah, which is great because that means if you give your body a break for a minute,
it's not going to want it anymore. Yeah, those cravings are going to go away eventually.
That's right. That's right. I mean, of course, it took chicken pox.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
That's right. Exactly. But once that happened, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't. But then quickly after that, I sort of started eating it again. And, after a while, it didn't taste as salty. And there it was. But, the same thing happened as a vegetarian. I became a vegetarian. And I remember when I had this slippery slope because I was starving to death. And I had been a vegetarian for 3 years. And there was literally, I was in some foreign city and, this guy said, well, I bet you boys are good and hungry. We're going to get to the best steakhouse it was Arkansas I was in. And, of course, I wasn't going to eat a steak after being a vegetarian. So I decided, okay, let me have like a cold water lobster instead.
Right.
So, and, it was good. But next thing I know, I was like eating roast beef again. So it's like, it was a slippery slope.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
And I don't eat any of that now, but, just much better diet.
Are you a vegetarian again?
Well, no, I eat some fish and, periodically, I some real lean turkey, but try to stay away from the red meat and all of the stuff that, that affects us in that way. So, so there is some challenges around that when we're not used to being there. So when we get back, we're going to talk to Dr. Bailey about some more protocols and also the programs that you've implemented that are now helping so many women get back on track. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network. If you have questions, 832-230-5592. You're listening to KYND Radio. We'll be back in just a moment.
Liking the conversation? Tell a friend to tune in to KYND, the kind of talk that inspires change.
Have you ever wondered?
Of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group, a family-owned auto group, is one of the fastest growing dealers in Houston. Bayway Lincoln has been awarded the prestigious Triple Crown Award for quality service. Bayway Lincoln, Volkswagen of the Woodlands, Bayshore Dodge, Bayway Volvo. The Bayway family has been longtime champions of diversity and would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the leaders of the past and encourage the leaders of the future. We invite you to come and find out what's made Bayway Lincoln an award-winning dealership for over 2 decades. Go to baywaylincoln.com or call 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Bayway Lincoln, strengthening our community for a better tomorrow.
This is Carla J, inviting you to join the new Sound Off with Carla J as we discuss pop culture, today's music, hottest gossip, sports, and a whole lot more. It's going to be crazy. You'll never know what shenanigans the guys will be up to and who'll be visiting the studio. Thursdays, 6 p.m. here on 1520 KYND.
Apple and Android users, be sure and download the KYND radio app. And don't miss Sound Off with Carla J on 1520 KYND.
The formula for success is you must be focused.
This is Bill Russell. If you or your family member are looking for a new or used car, truck, or SUV, I've got every make, model, and brand. BMW, Range Rover, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Mercedes, Lexus, Nissan.
The Warden on the air everywhere. Everywhere. The powerful 1520.
And we are back. You're listening to the Natural Nation Network here on KYND Radio. We are speaking with Dr. Bailey, and Dr. Bailey's had an amazing journey from law school to medical doctor in the emergency room to health and fitness guru now.
Thank you.
Cheerleader.
And cheerleader.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. We forgot about that little stint. What was it, the Redskins?
Yes, I was a Redskins cheerleader during law school.
Wow. Now, Doc,
Yep.
I'm telling you, you are a woman of many talents. My goodness.
Yep.
Wow. And mom now, too, which
Yes,
is
and
exciting.
Mom, that's the most important job.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the awesome career that that lasts a lifetime for us.
It does,
right?
yes.
Wow. So Doc, let's kind of delve into this because we've got about maybe 10 minutes left here, and I wanted really just have an opportunity to get the audience to understand some of the things that you do in these protocols that you have set up because you've got online courses and everything else. So tell us more about that.
Well, I have just started a company called Fit and Fine in no time. Again, out of the outpouring of women asking me for help, I do online fitness coaching, one-on-one with women. In addition to that, I do nutritional assessments. I kind of gauge, where they are, what other roadblocks, what things they want to gain, what their goals are, and kind of help them map out a plan and to get to where they want to get to their goals. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a strict goal, you need to lose this much weight or whatever, but do you want to feel better? What are your goals? How can we get to your goals? So with that, I also am doing like a 7-day fitness challenge. Actually, this week I'm starting tonight. It's completely free for people that are interested in joining the fitness challenge. They just have to email me at fitandfine@gmail.com, and they will be a part of this fitness challenge.
So fitandfineinnotime@gmail.com.
And we're going to start tonight. Yep. And every day I'm going to give fitness tips and things to try just to give it a week to see, if you do this week of fitness, how do you feel? Is it working for you? Just to give it a try. And then every day I'm going to also be giving out free Fit and Fine different giveaways and things every day.
So what do you say to a woman or a man for that matter that says, oh gosh, I tried exercising but it hurt so much, and then eating broccoli every day, I mean that's not what I do, and what do you say to someone like that to get them started?
You got to find out first what works for you. Again, you can't. You got to get rid of the negativity. You don't have to eat broccoli every day. What kind of vegetables do you like to eat? What food do you like to eat?
Some guys will say they like vegetable hamburgers, right?
That's
veggie hamburger. Make your double cheeseburger. That's the veggie.
And again, you don't have to eat 100% clean every day. You can have a cheat meal once a week. I have a cheat meal once a week. It's not a big deal. You don't have to eat 100% every day. To get where you need to go. You got to find a balance to what makes you happy and what works for you.
Yeah, so they say that people do things for one of two reasons, either to gain pleasure or avoid pain. Those are the two motivators, right?
Yes.
So then what's the strongest motivator?
For me, it was to get healthier, to feel better and live longer. Let's do everything I can to be healthy. Diabetes, blood pressure, and kidney disease are mother and father side of the family, so it's real close. So I don't want to. I've already got the genes for it, so I need to do everything I can to prevent those diseases. So changing my diet and exercise are the biggest things I can do to avoid having high blood pressure and diabetes and all that, or at least prevent it longer or later in life.
Yes.
I heard folks that do have diabetes, if they did change their diet and exercise, they can actually get off of insulin.
Yes, quite a few people, when they do lose a substantial amount of weight, get off the insulin and don't need it if they can keep the weight down. So the biggest thing with diabetes can be the weight.
So you can get off the medicine.
Yes, you can, which is huge, especially for people on insulin.
Is huge. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, because of, again, all the complications from diabetes.
Yes.
My goodness, everything leading up to, as we were saying before, amputations and all of that.
And dialysis. My mom was on dialysis, and it's brutal.
It's not fun.
Yeah,
right.
It's 3 days a week. I drove her 3 days a week back and forth, and she was miserable. She felt horrible.
4 hours.
Yeah, you sit there 4 hours with them taking every blood drop out of your body and cleaning it and putting it back in.
That's a lot.
And if you can avoid that, by exercising and dieting, it's worth it.
The sad part is my dad was on dialysis too, but I remember taking him to the dialysis clinic, and I'd see people sitting there eating cheeseburgers.
Yes.
And I'm like, really, man? What is up with that?
Well, I think at that point they realize it's...
Right. They're like, well, I'm gonna...
Exactly. My mom was like that too. She was like, I want a soda. And I was like, well, she's like, I'm dying anyway. Let me have my soda.
Wow.
And I've already done the damage.
Wow.
This is just kind of keeping things going.
But there is some truth to the fact that even at that late stage, you can actually start bringing things back, and your quality of life can improve.
There are people that are able to get off dialysis.
Wow.
If you can get healthy enough, you can get a kidney transplant. You won't need that dialysis anymore. If you have a family member that's a match, so that's a good reason, even if you do have the disease or you are on dialysis, is to get healthier, change your diet, start exercising as much as your doctor says that you can, and you might be able to get your transplant and be able to get off the machine and live a new life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know there's a physician, and he's a cardiovascular surgeon, but I remembered him saying, I cure diabetes, I cure cancer. And he said, I said cure because I'll provide you with clinical studies to show you that you had cancer here and you don't have it anymore. I cured it. And he said, I'm a doctor, I can say that, because some of the conundrums that a health and wellness practitioner run into is that the FDA has so deeply restricted, and I get that there's a lot of quackery out there.
Yes.
But they're so restricted in that they cannot use anything that's treat, cure, diagnose, all of those. So in protocols, Dr. Bailey, with some of the supplements, what are some of the supplements that you use and that you recommend?
Well, my personal company has just come out with 2 supplements. I've got an all-natural fat burner. It's just made out of vitamins. It's the Fit and Fine in No Time Super Fat Burner. And it helps stimulate, the vitamins help stimulate your metabolism, help you burn fat faster, along with proper diet and exercise and all that. And I've also got a chocolate protein powder shake, Fit and Fine chocolate protein powder shake that I've come out with your diet. Sometimes you need to eat 5 small meals a day, 6 small meals a day, and one of those meals can be replaced by a protein shake. And these are individually packaged shakes you can take with you to work or school or whatever, and just add some water to it, add some milk to it, and then you've got a great meal right there with all the protein and vitamins you need for one meal.
Wow.
So those are two things that I use those personally, and I also do other different kind of supplements and shakes and all that to help.
So the supplements are developed by you?
Yes, these two are developed by me. I've got more coming out, but I'm just starting with two to see how they do.
So she's an entrepreneur, too.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
This is
There you
getting longer
go.
by the minute.
That's right. I told her all she has to do is start singing in here. Come on,
wish I
Doc.
could.
Just break out in a couple of notes
I wish
for
I
us,
could.
Doc. My goodness.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, you're a great example to, as you said, to women who are out there aspiring to change their bodies.
Yes.
And in some cases change their careers,
Yeah.
because you made a 180-degree turn from something that you didn't want to do to something
Yes.
that you're passionate about.
Exactly.
And it sounds like this is continuing to evolve, because now you're really getting into the health and wellness side of this
Yeah.
equation
And
even
that's
more.
the future.
Exactly.
It really is. That's awesome.
I've realized how important like prevention is. Like you
Yeah.
said, holistic things are important, and so I'm become very passionate about it. I want to help as many women and men too as possible, but
But
more.
mostly women.
Well, look, women, you know what? Women are the number one consumers.
Yeah,
and when it
we
comes
are.
to health, most of the time, guys are kind of dumb about this.
Yeah.
And guys, those of you listening, I'm speaking on behalf of my
No
gender
offense,
here.
right.
You know, if something's going on, go see a doctor.
Yes,
If your body's not what it was when it was in your 20s and 30s, you know, go back and start taking the steps.
Yes.
Because my gosh, you know, when we're so far upstream that we're about to hit that waterfall, and then we go, okay, now it's time to eat broccoli. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's like you can stop
really?
ahead of time.
Broccoli's like, what you looking at me for?
That's right. I ain't got nothing to do
Right.
with you.
Nothing for you.
That's right, exactly. So you got to catch it early.
Yeah.
You can.
And if you do the steps, the preventative steps, your quality of life improves,
It's so
your
much better.
energy improves. And you know, I honestly, I'm like anyone else. I used to love a lot of those rich foods, but
Yeah.
I got to a point where I said, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, it's not
I
worth it anymore.
want to feel good,
Yeah.
and every day I wake up now and I can jump right out of bed, and you know,
Yeah.
and also, you know, one of the gentlemen that called earlier was talking about his nature, as he so quaintly put it. Right?
Yes. It definitely improves your nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
Because after all, if your nature's not rising, then you know your wife is going to be finding
That's
other
right.
sunsets.
There he goes again.
That's right. I had to slip that in there. It's like, hey, you know, but the truth is, you know, it's really about enjoying life and staying present.
It
you
is,
know,
yeah.
and so that's something we appreciate. So we're just about out of time here. So Robin, before we get to Dr. Bailey, any final thoughts from you?
No, I just appreciate being here, and I appreciate being next to greatness.
Oh,
because
thank you.
it's very motivating and
That's awesome.
inspiring.
Thank you.
And I'm going to do my best to join your 7-day
Great.
challenge.
Please join.
That's right up my alley.
Yep.
So I appreciate it.
Yes.
And Oscar, thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of you who have been listening to the show, you've got to go on our Facebook page and share this information. Share it, because it's life-saving information. And not only that, but most people think that Robin is an old Jewish woman by
I'm a
listening
sister,
to her
y'all.
voice. And she's a sister. She's a
I get that
beautiful
all the
sister.
time.
But no, I told her she's got a
funny.
great voice for radio. She's very witty and clever.
is.
So that's a lot of fun.
Too
So,
kind.
so Dr. Bailey, how do folks get in touch with you? How do they connect to you, connect to your brand? How does that work?
The easiest way, you can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Dr. Regina, MD, JD. I also am on Twitter with the same name, and Instagram, the same thing, Dr. Regina, MD, JD. And I've got a website that just came up, drreginamdjd.com. So it's real easy to find me, and I'll text you, email you back. Just ask me anything, and I'll try to help you every way I can.
Dr. Regina, MD, JD.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes. Thank
well,
you.
folks, reach out to Dr. Regina Bailey. She is fabulous. She's got a lot of energy. She's in amazing shape.
Thank you. Thank you for having
You
me.
certainly practice what you
Yeah.
preach.
Fit after 40 is what I
Walking
say.
advertising.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. You can't trust a skinny chef. You can't trust a dentist with bad teeth. And you can't trust a fitness instructor that's
Who's
still fat.
and flabby.
So that's exactly right. Well, thank you all so much for being here today. Folks, thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in tomorrow with Dr. Polly. We're going to be talking about cardiovascular diseases. And next week, we'll be back here with the Natural Nation Network for another subject that can help change your health. Houston, have a fabulous day.
views and opinions expressed on KYND 1520 talk programs are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, management, other hosts, or advertisers. Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company. KYND, Cypress, Houston, a Synergy Broadcasting Company. Talk that inspires change. Music that revives memories. The powerful 1520.